Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have the clicker?
Yes.
All right, and there's water for you?
Yes, I do. All right. Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Bettina Hoiler, as Helle just said, and I work as a UX and service designer at Element Brand Insurance. And today I want to talk to you about discrimination in design. But more specifically, I want to talk about the systemic racism and gender bias that is within medical devices, and give you my perspective on why I think it's something that we need to take into considerations as designer at insurance companies when designing our service processes and customer experiences. But first, I want to put a few more words on what I do as a designer at Element Brand, as well as tell you a few things about insurance in case you're not very familiar with it. So let's go. Right. So at Element Brand, I work within our claims area, which involves looking at the customer experience for customers filing a claim. And the idea is that I have to make the best customer experience for people filing a claim. And that involves both looking at how to file a claim, but also the process that follows, the so-called claim handling process, which from a customer perspective involves getting an answer to whether you are covered by insurance, and if you are, what sort of compensation you are entitled to. Now, within insurance, we talk about two types of compensation. More specifically, we talk about compensation in the form of financial aid if the customer suffers a loss. That could be the case if you got your bike stolen, then your content insurance would provide you with the money you needed to buy a new bike, but other insurances provide customers with treatment, or should I say a service, if they, for instance, have an injury. That could be the case with health insurance. And then there are other insurances which provide you with a combination of the two, both financial aid and treatment. But for today's talk, I want to speak about a customer having a health insurance, and that will be the focus of my talk today. But first, before we go into the topic, I just want to show off a family photo of some of the great men in my life. And on you see the photo, this is my uncle, and these are some of my cousins. And as you may be able to tell from the photo, we have different skin colors and physical features. My uncle, whom you see to the left, is what you would term Latino. My cousins to my right are half Latino, half white, and my cousin out here is half Latino, half black. I am, on the other hand, what you would term white or Caucasian, which is characterized by features such as a narrow yet protrusion nose, a small mouth, a complex skin color, a facial angle between 100 to 90 degrees, and generally light skin color, although Caucasians can have darker skin tones as well. Now, why did I want to show you this photo? And why did I have to put an ethnic or racial perspective on it? Well, I wanted to show you this photo because, as research found, there is systemic racism and gender bias in medical devices in the healthcare system. Now, a biased medical there's these biased medical devices which works in the healthcare industry, and a biased medical device can be defined as a device which operates in a manner which disadvantages certain demographic groups and influence health inequity in society. And it is according to research, amongst others, found in both the hardware and the software of the medical device. And working for an insurance company, I must admit I was very surprised to hear that there is this difference. I would have assumed that everyone is getting the same experience when being treated with the same medical device. However, according to an article from The Guardian, which is backed up by other research, content or concerns of racial bias in relation to several healthcare gadgets have been found in terms of also their data accuracy. And examples of these gadgets could be, for instance, the oximeter, which estimates the amount of blood in a person's, estimates the amount of blood in a person, and it concerns have been raised about it working less well for people with darker skin, as it was designed for Caucasians originally. And this concern in the oximeter is believed to have been a contributing factor to a higher death rate amongst ethnic people during the COVID pandemic, because healthcare workers were under the impression that people were getting the oxygen they needed, although this was not the case. Another example is these FFP masks, which we all had to do or had to wear during the COVID pandemic. And these masks have to fit the wearer's facial characteristics in order to offer the greatest protection. However, it was found during testing of these masks that there was a facial fit variance between 40 to 90% and were found to be especially low in women and Asians. And yet again, it was found that these masks had been developed with Caucasians in mind. Another example is the spirometer, which measures lung capacity. And it is a gadget I know very well because my family suffers from asthma. And here experts have raised concerns about racial bias in terms of the interpretation of data from it. The problem being an assumption that Blacks and Asians have lower lung capacity than that of a white person, which has, again, if we look to the COVID pandemic, affected the order in which patients have been treated, favoring white people. And to mitigate this problem, what you call face-based correction factors have been added to these spirometers, but the problem is that many physicians still do not know that these correction factors have been added, and therefore Blacks and Asians must have much lower lung capacity than that of a white to be considered a priority. Now, as the article from The Guardian illustrates, as well as other research within the field, it is important to mention that although we experience bias being a problem in medical devices, the devices were not designed with the deliberate intention of discriminating against women or people of color. On the opposite, the biased medical devices illustrate something we are all victims of, something we all carry around, something which may be invisible at first, namely a biased brain.